critical point as the Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has resigned amidst the escalating chaos. He's resigned from the post of Prime Minister as per Article 77 Clause 1 of the Nepalese Constitution with effect from today. He has stated that considering the current unusual situation in the country, he's done so for a constitutional and political outlet to resolve the problems that are being faced by the people of Nepal. Meanwhile, demonstrators have torched the residences of President Ram Chandra Paudel and Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli. That's not all. Nepal's Supreme Court and Attorney General's office have been vandalized as well. The Parliament building was also set on fire. Meanwhile, government officials are being evacuated by helicopters from the Bhaispati ministerial quarters to the Tribhuvan International Airport, which is now been shut down. Protesters are meanwhile using social media to disrupt air traffic with fireworks, drones and laser lights causing delays. Up until now, only 2 flights have successfully taken off recently, while Himalaya and Air India flights await clearance. Meanwhile, we're learning that 2 Indigo flights bound for Kathmandu from Delhi and from Mumbai, they were en route to the airport but did not receive clearance to land, forcing a diversion to Lucknow in India. Now, after refueling, both flights will return to their origin cities as there are currently no operations to Kathmandu taking place today. Additionally, we are also learning that Yeti Airlines has cancelled all scheduled flights for today, citing the nationwide curfew, security concerns and escalating circumstances in the valley. We're also learning that Nepalese Finance Minister Bishnu Prasad Paudel has been attacked, and we do, as I mentioned before, know that Supreme Court, Attorney General's offices and the Parliament, they've all been vandalized. Meanwhile, at the India-Nepal border at Panitanki, the situation is quite serious. The border guards are on high alert as protests are showing no signs of abating. Meanwhile, we're seeing scenes of absolute jubilance. People are elated on the ground. They can be seen celebrating the news of the resignation of KP Sharma Oli. Several protesters are also reacting to the updates coming in. Take a look.
So the Prime Minister, he has resigned after a violent protest for 2 days. So what is your reaction on it?
It is very good for our country. Now I think like us youth will stand and will develop the country.
So how do you take the action of KP Sharma Oli using the force on the students who were on the street yesterday?
Terrible, terrible. That's very wrong. That's very wrong. That was really violent.
So do you think the protest which started from yesterday made him step down from the post?
Yes, I think. Yes.
So the Prime Minister, he has resigned after a violent protest for 2 days. So what is your reaction on it?
It is very good for our country. Now I think like us youth will stand and will develop the country.
So how do you take the action of KP Sharma Oli using the force on the students who were on the street yesterday?
Terrible, terrible. That's very wrong. That's very wrong. That was really violent.
So do you think the protest which started from yesterday made him step down from the post?
Yes, I think. Yeah.
All right, there of course you've heard what the protesters have had to say, and just take a look at these visuals that are coming in from Nepal. You can see people, of course, celebrating on the streets. They were out protesting ever since yesterday. The protests had escalated to the point where tear gas shells were fired, water cannons were being used as well. That is not all. In fact, 20 protesters are said to have lost their lives, with scenes of utter elation. People can be seen smiling on the ground. With us on the broadcast is Colonel Sanjeet Sirohi, International Relations and Defence expert, joining us from New Delhi. Thank you so much for taking our time speaking to us on NewsX World. Some high-octane developments have been taking place in Nepal. Their Prime Minister, KP Sharma Oli, has now tendered his resignation in light of the violence we've witnessed recently. Now, in your opinion, the protests that we've seen rage, especially over the social media ban, Was this something sudden, or has discontent been brewing amongst the people of Nepal for a while?
Absolutely, what you are saying is absolutely correct. This was one of the reasons. In fact, it was a spark point. Discontentment was already there among the youth because of unemployment, because of corruption and other issues. So it was just a nail on the coffin when this thing was, the social media was banned. That is the time when the protesters started. And I think it is the right move which Prime Minister Oli has taken, that he has resigned, because he was advised by the army that as long as you are the Prime Minister, things are not going to come under control. So as a result of the advice from the Chief of the Army Staff, he has resigned, and now hopefully the students will realize that whatever has happened because the social media ban has been lifted. So I think it will be in the interest of the students also and the interest of the country that they'll go back to their homes and let the president and the army decides what they have to do in the future. Yeah.
Indeed, we also have with us on the broadcast Ms. Shruti Das Gupta, International Affairs expert, joining us from New Delhi. Ma'am, what is your assessment of what exactly has taken place? All right, there seems to be a connectivity issue as far as Ms. Das Gupta's connection is concerned, but just take a look at those visuals. I'd like to take a moment to walk our viewers through what you can see. That, of course, is Prime Minister Oli's residence. He's now tendered his resignation. It has completely been destroyed. You can see plumes of smoke rising up to the air. It's completely been torched. I believe Ms. Shruti Das Gupta is back with us on the broadcast. Ma'am, if you can hear me this time around, I was asking you, what is your assessment of the situation on the ground? What next for Nepal? And how should New Delhi approach what is taking place beyond the border?
Greetings. Thank you so much for inviting me. Nepal is burning, as you've just mentioned. The students have taken onto the streets. Gen Z is burning up houses of people. So this is more than just an agitation against social media, as many of your panelists have noted before me, and the other news media channels are saying. What the problem is that there is a 19% unemployment rate, and when you take away social media away from it, Nepal has already been simmering in the fumes of pro-monarchy protests, anti-communism protests. They have been protesting against the lives of Nepo kids. I believe the Nepo kids trend actually originated from Philippines, and it has come to Nepal as well, where the politicians' children were showing off their larger-than-life luxury lifestyles on TikTok videos and other places. And the people on ground were fuming because their taxes were paying for the luxury of these particular kids. So this is exactly what fueled for. What I see coming for Nepal is probably because there is a large faction of pro-Hindu, pro-monarchy people that are part of this Gen Z protest. So I do believe that the king would be welcomed back with both hands, but the democracy will continue to stay. So he'll probably be a statutory head of a government, like probably what we see in UK. So he will find his place again in monarchy to provide the civilizational context to whatever is happening in Nepal and has been its part of its history. And then we'll see a pro-Hindu and pro-monarchy faction develop itself into a political party that is now probably going to see elections, because 21 of its members, Nepal's parliament have resigned, cabinet members have resigned, PM Oli has resigned. So this is going to lead to a dissolution of the parliament, and new fresh elections probably, and in this we'll see new faces, because all the older ones from 2008 to now, 13 different governments have been sworn in. Basically, every 2 or 3 years, we're seeing a new face come forth, run the same scheme on people and find out that it is not really working. And then we go back into the cycle of abuse where unemployment stays, people on the ground stay poor, and the politicians and their families and their cronies benefit. So this time around, a new fresh face would probably emerge from these riots. At least that's what is my opinion of the situation.
All right, I'd like to thank Colonel Sirohi, and I request Ms. Dasgupta to stay on with us. Meanwhile, breaking news coming in, there's a joint statement that has been issued by the embassies of Australia, Finland, France, Japan and the Republic of Korea, as well as the United Kingdom, Norway, Germany and the United States of America. This is over the protests that have taken place in Nepal. The statement reads that these countries are deeply saddened by the violence seen in Kathmandu and elsewhere in Nepal, including the tragic loss of life and injury during demonstrations. All these countries have extended their sincere condolences to the families of the victims, all those affected, and wish all those injured a swift and full recovery. They have reaffirmed their strong support for the universal rights of peaceful assembly and freedom of expression, and have urged all parties to exercise maximum restraint, avoiding further escalation and ensuring that these fundamental rights are protected. Still with us on the broadcast is Ms. Shruti Dasgupta. Ma'am, how do you react to the statement coming in? We've seen another statement earlier in the day by the United Nations. A very similar tone and tenor has been used. The UN, in fact, pointed out the fact that Nepal is a vibrant democracy, but the overall tone as far as condoling the loss of lives and of course pointing towards safeguarding universal human rights, that remains the same.
That is the tone on any protest that goes violent. So I don't find anything unusual when these statements come forth from all factions that please protect human life. Let this not turn into them against us kind of a conflict where the state machinery uses arms, pistols, guns, or whatever else is at their disposal to quieten down dissenting voices. But the social media ban also kind of highlighted one of the facts that if I don't know whether you are whether any of your panelists have mentioned this or not, but the registration that they wanted these 26 apps to go through, a part of that registration was saying that the government will control what is going to be put out on those platforms in Nepal, and any content found not in consonance with what the government wants to project to its people, they were at liberty to remove indiscriminately, and the platforms had to comply. This was one of the major reasons why the people are there on the streets, because their only way of making their voice heard was being suppressed. And this is one of the reasons why all these nations have come forth and said that peaceful assembly, peaceful dissent should be permitted. And this is what was the Oli government's problem. They also instituted a similar ban against TikTok, which is right now, I think, working. Of course, right now the ban has been lifted on all of them. But before the ban, TikTok was not part of the 26 apps ban. And TikTok was earlier banned a year back. And their particular clause for working within Nepal was that they would allow Nepal's tourism government to showcase Nepal in the best possible light. So again, control of what the media puts out, social media puts out by the Oli governments and the other Nepalese governments is what was being seen through all these legislations. So although the world hopes for better, right now the situation, I believe, remains to be very, very, very incendiary.
Absolutely, ma'am. I request you to